Okay, let's talk about the future of that device in your pocket, because we're on the verge of a massive shift in how we use technology. A future where that screen full of little app icons, yeah, that's basically going the way of the dinosaur. We're entering a new era called the outcome economy.
And big changes like this, they almost never announce themselves. They don't ask for permission. The real game changers get smuggled into our lives, hidden inside an offer that's just too good to pass up. And believe me, it's a pattern that's played out before, and it is absolutely happening again, right now.
So let's dig into that pattern. It turns out past tech revolutions have left us a perfect blueprint for what's unfolding as we speak.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, right? Think about the bribe. Back in the late 90s, BlackBerry wasn't selling a digital leash. No way. They sold status. And that little status symbol smuggled the 24/7 workday right into our lives. Fast forward to 2007. Apple sold us an iPod that makes calls. It was all about music and fun. And through that Trojan horse, they smuggled in the entire App Store economy. So what's the bribe today? AI agents are selling us the one thing none of us can get enough of: time. And what they're smuggling in this time is a whole new age of digital autonomy.
So, what does this all lead to? Well, a pretty bold prediction. The idea is that by 2027, that home screen we spent all day tapping on will feel as old and clunky as a phone with a physical keyboard. Our main way of interacting with the digital world won't be tapping on icons, it'll be having a conversation with a personal assistant. And that brings us to the real heart of this new era. It's a total flip in how we get things done. We're moving away from giving step-by-step instructions and toward just stating what we want, our intent.
Look at this distinction, because it's everything. For years, we've been living in the world of instructional computing. We were the glue. We had to open one app, copy some info, paste it into another. We were the human integration layer. But in this new world of intentional computing, you just state the goal. You just say the outcome you want, and the agent goes out and navigates that digital wilderness for you. For the first time, the software is actually truly working for you, and not the other way around.
And honestly, this travel analogy just nails it. The old app model is like a detailed travel itinerary, a massive spreadsheet that just completely falls apart the second your flight gets canceled. Now you're scrambling, opening 3 different apps to fix it. The agent model, though, that's like having a personal travel guide. It doesn't just hold the plan, it has agency. It's watching the sky, it sees the delay coming, and before you even know there's a problem, it has already rebooked your flight, your transfer, your hotel, and it just pings you once to say, hey, everything is handled, go ahead and sleep in.
Now, you can imagine this has a huge consequence for brands. For decades, their biggest advantage was knowing more than you, the consumer. But these agents, they are completely immune to fancy marketing, to clever psychological tricks, to dark patterns. They just scrape the data, compare the hard facts, and find the absolute, objectively best outcome for you. They are your ultimate advocate.
So this new power dynamic, it creates an incredibly high-stakes game for every business out there. The challenge is no longer about losing a customer for a little while. It's about the risk of being completely and permanently erased from their world.
And this brings us to a brand new term you've got to know: agentgenic churn. This is not like unsubscribing from a marketing email. Oh no. When the user has one bad experience and tells their agent to blacklist a brand, that's it. The brand is gone from their life, forever. The source material calls it a permanent iron curtain, and that's exactly what it is.
And the path to this digital non-existence, it's shockingly simple and brutal. It all starts with one poor service experience. That leads to a single command: never show me that brand again. That command creates a permanent filter. And just like that, for that user, your brand ceases to exist. There's no ad you can buy, no discount you can offer to get through that wall.
So what's the new standard for survival? It's this number: 99.999% operational reliability. Why so high? Because a human customer might forgive a little mistake, right? But a bot doesn't forgive. It only sees the data, and an error isn't a learning opportunity anymore. It's a permanent black mark on your record.
Okay, so that's the threat. That's the scary part. But what's the solution? How do brands actually survive in this new world? Well, it all comes down to a technical mandate. You have to learn to speak the language of bots.
And that new language is called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP. The absolute best way to think about it is as the USB-C for AI. A single universal standard that lets any agent from anywhere plug into any business and immediately understand what it is and what it can do.
And this table just shows how night and day the difference is. The old way, with custom APIs, meant months of coding for every single new partnership. With MCP, you build your server once, and literally any agent can connect to it. It's plug and play. Updates are instant. The result? You go from drowning in integration debt to a world where a customer can go from discovery to checkout in a matter of seconds.
So how does it actually work? Well, MCP basically gives an agent three things. First, resources. That's your real-time data like inventory and product specs. Second, tools. These are the verbs, the actions an agent can take, like check stock or initiate refund. And third, prompts, which are basically a friendly guide on how to best work with your company's systems.
And here's the bottom line. This means the entire goal of marketing and brand building has been turned on its head. Getting a like on social media? It's becoming irrelevant. The only thing that truly matters is earning the trust of a consumer's autonomous agent.
This absolute need for trust reshapes, well, everything. From security to customer service to how reputation is even built. So, let's get into the new rules of the game.
Naturally, the security threats are evolving too. Hackers aren't just trying to break your code anymore. They're targeting the agent's logic with things like prompt hijacking, which is kind of like hiding malicious code in plain sight. So the defenses have to get way more sophisticated, with things like rock-solid identity verification and permissions that literally expire the second a task is complete.
This leads to a really cool new idea for customer experience called forgiveness as a service. Look, agents are powerful, but they're still going to make mistakes. So the brands that win will be the ones that proactively detect and fix those errors, often before the human even knows anything went wrong. They don't wait for you to call and complain. They find the problem and fix it first.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? In a world that's becoming more and more automated, the most valuable thing a brand can possibly do is provide excellent, high-touch human help at the exact moment an automated system messes up. That is how you build loyalty and avoid that iron curtain.
Okay, so where does all this end up? Well, it leads to something called the social PDA, because agents don't just learn from you, they learn from each other. They form a kind of collective intelligence, what the source calls a neighborhood engine.
Your agent is going to start asking other agents, hey, is this airline reliable? Is that retailer's API any good? They'll gossip at the speed of light about which brands are easy to work with and which ones are a mess. And that's the big takeaway. A brand's reputation is no longer what people post on Instagram. It's what their agents report to each other about your technical competence and reliability.
Which leaves us with this one final, pretty heavy question to think about. In the old world, the app world, a brand was always just one clever ad, one good coupon, one tap away from winning a customer back. But in this new agent-driven world, are you just one single error away from being deleted forever?